الفيلم ده طبعا زي ما شفتوا من الفيلم ده من عمل اخواننا عمر هواري وعبد الحاج ومختار من الارشيف، وما في زول بيقدر ياخذ الفكره الجمهوريه احسن من الاستاذ محمود مؤكد. والفكره الجمهوريه عند الاستاذ محمود مش كلام انما معيشه، يعني العارف فوق ما يقول. الاستاذ محمود فوق الفكره الجمهوريه لانه بتشوفه مجسده، ومؤكد بسعاده ما بدانيه سعاده انه زول يشوف الاستاذ محمود عايش فكره. بيناتنا اخونا السفير دكتور كيجا أكوش، وهو اختار لحديثه تجربة الأستاذ محمود للسودان الجديد. والدكتور كان في جامعة الخرطوم زميل لأخونا الجمهوري أحمد المصطفى المبارك طبيب، وهو كان بيحضر كاندالي، وهو عنده معرفة الفكرة الجمهورية بالأستاذ محمود. اختار الموضوع ده من عنده، أنا ما اخترت له أي موضوع، لكن هو ده قال ده يتكلم عن تجربة الأستاذ محمود للسودان الجديد. فأنا ما راح أقول أي حاجة، بدي الميكروفون وهو يتكلم لكم عن هذا
السلام عليكم.
السلام ورحمة
معرفتي بالعربي أو القدرة للخطبة بالعربي بيكون ضيق جدا، بستأذن لو ممكن أتكلم بالإنجليزية. I think many of you and all of us in the hall يعني بيتكلموا إنجليزي. So if you can allow me to do that, I'll be very grateful. شكرا. I greatly thank my brothers and sisters who have invited me to this great occasion to feel with my family, the Sudanese family, and to share my thoughts about the experience of one of my heroes as a student in Sudan at that time, and up to now, الأستاذ محمود طه. I think I will start by greeting all the distinguished guests who have come, all the ladies, all the young men and the children, because if none of the children comes, they will not get the history. So it is very important for us to get this occasion to talk about things that affect not only Sudan of today, Sudan of yesterday, but the world at large. I have not listened to Al-Ustaz Mahmoud Taha in any of his talks, debates, but as my brother said, I have attended ندوات في قهوة نشاط جامعة خرطوم كان بيقوم بها دكتور دالي, and I have attended also talks في كلية with my colleague Ahmed Mustafa. and I've listened and interacted with Professor Abdullah ibn Naim. So, and I have lived in Sudan and seen in many different places the values for which الأستاذ محمود was fighting for. One of them, it has clearly come out in the short video presentation, is equality. The vision for everybody. We have to be equal. And although at that time in modern Sudan of the 70s and the 80s, many northern Sudanese did not want to associate with the rights of either minorities, particularly the South Sudanese. But الأستاذ محمود will not be comfortable thinking in his bed if he did not talk about the rights of the minorities, because these are the values for which he lived and for which he died, for which he was killed. When the Mary regime started, or when it took power in 1969, and they declared that they would resolve the problem of South Sudan, as they used to call it that time, الأستاذ and his students were very pleased. This you already know, but I just want to emphasize the values that he shared. And though he was very pleased, he did not stop insisting on having the conflict to be stopped through dialogue, not by war. And that value, many South Sudanese liked it. We felt we were citizens in one country, because my right is the right of another Sudanese in Dungula, in Halfa, and it can be raised from Rufa. It doesn't need to be raised by me from Juba or from Malakal, because the same values that are shared by our people in Rufa are the values that are shared by the people in Juba, in Malakal, in Wau, and other places of Sudan. And this was reaching. But this unfortunately became the problem, because many people were listening to him and were being attracted to his lectures. And it was threatening, particularly at the last days when the Nimeri regime started to adopt the non-classical, the violent form of Islam, the Sharia, which was definitely rejected by الأستاذ محمود and all his teachers, and by many moderate Muslims. It is not; these are not the values of Islam that we know in Sudan and elsewhere in the world. And because many people were coming among the Muslims, the people were coming to understand these values, and away from Nimeri's regime and his friends, he became unfortunately, a target for elimination. And this, unfortunately, led to his massacre, to his assassination, to his execution in '85. His vision for a united Sudan and for equality is what the late Dr. John Garang also preached. Although they were at different times, if God had made them to meet, probably things would have changed in the Sudan. If they had lived at the same time and were politically active together, I believe many things would have changed, many people would have supported them, and there would not have been the loss of lives, the war for so many years, and many other things. We are very sorry for having lost him. We wish, we hope, I wish that he had lived to see the homecoming of the late Dr. John Garang. I particularly remember, I would like to particularly honor الأستاذ محمود for coming from Rufaa. During the struggle, during the difficulties, many South Sudanese came to the north because of our shared values. We think that when there are problems in the south, the best place to be safe would be the north. And many people came to the north. And the people were seeking light, education. We saw it from the songs. The people were seeking light, education. And nowhere else other than Rufaa where Sudan could give South Sudanese space for their education. And every time anybody came from, one of the students going to Rufaa came from either Medani or from Khartoum or other places, the citizens of Rufaa would recognize them and give them lift and other services لحد ما يمشوا داخلياتهم. I think there were so many places open in Omdurman, in Khartoum, in Bahri, but they were not given. So I'm particularly indebted to Rufaa, the best place of الأستاذ محمود for the values that they share, not only for Sudan, but for the whole world, for Africa and the whole world. Among the leaders of South Sudan today, there are many graduates from Rufaa. I do not know them, but I know that many people studied in Rufaa. Unfortunately, I had studied in Rumbek, and I was away at that time, so I did not have the privilege to come to Rufaa. But one of my uncles, Ammi, كان أول مدير لمدرسة ثانوية في Rufaa. So if I were in Sudan, definitely I would have gone to see him, and I would have seen the karama, the goodness of Rufaa and the people of Rufaa. Even while he did not seek power in Sudan, and which is always, it's not a very easy thing not to do. many politicians are always attracted to power. But having a vision, a greater vision than what many Sudanese have at that time, it was not in his interest and his vision to get to power. He could have if he wished. Lakin, he rejected it. And this is not a common feature in any Sudanese. His nationalism was beyond that of his country, beyond Africa. He compared greatly with Gandhi, although Gandhi wanted power, but his peaceful ideas were similar to those of Gandhi. If he had existed, if he had not been executed, Imkin, they would have united with the late John Garang, and Sudan would have remained one country. I know how his students worked for the referendum in South Sudan to see it, that it was done, because there were people working against it. Lakin, I think that his students are there in Sudan. The students of John Garang are also available. They will join hands, and I think even if Sudan is not going to become one again, I'm sorry for that. Lakin, if we live as brothers and sisters, if we share the same values that we have always shared, we will be prosperous, will be peacefully existing. I could not come with many of my staff. I'm alone, but I know that there are many people within the community that have come, because it is an occasion that we cherish as people. But I would have loved to come with a number of staff from the embassy. And fortunately, Ban, who has always been attending this occasion, could not come today. Lanu Andu Munasiba Andu Uzur, very good. His wife had an operation from Juma. She brought a baby son who can undo Talata Banat, but he's not able to. But this is why he has not been able to come with me. Lakin huwa qalbu ma al-munasiba. I'm very thankful. I will stop here, and I wish and pray that we continue to remember the legacy of Ustaz Mahmoud Taha, and to employ his experience for a peaceful coexistence between all the peoples of the Sudan, of Africa, and of the world. Thank you very much.